This is a battle in the Aggony 1v1 championship. Duck, being a true gentleman, is still sending these replays as players are sending them in, and he's making things easier for me by sending them in a bunch at a time. So that's always nice when tournament organizers get the replays and send them. It's awesome, because then it's very easy for me to upload the games and for you to watch them. So big thanks to Duck. Now this battle is one, or this series rather, is one I'm quite excited for, because it's Panda Warrior versus Yawning Firefly. And the way Panda Warrior has approached Age of Charlemagne has been very interesting. He's bringing some unexpected armies, and they work really well for him. So without further ado, here is his army. We're going to go over the Kingdom of Charlemagne first. Kingdom of Charlemagne versus Westphalia. So we have a bunch of levy archers up front in loose formation. 3 levy archers, 3 standard archers, 6 in total. Then we have armored spears, armored swords in the center, and of course we have the Frankish cavalry. Very good Frankish cavalry. Some Frankish horse here on the flanks, hiding. So a nice balanced Charlemagne army. Here we have Saxon cav for Westphalia, Saxon cav on the flanks. Then we have axe warriors in the center, sword veterans on the flanks, and some spear band, another Saxon cav over here, and we also have a bunch of archers. Let's see, levy archers, archers. Now Panda has his work cut out for him here, because on this map on Beskanon you can see he is moving up towards the flank, and this is very smartly done here, because moving up this hill means that he's going to be fighting uphill and firing uphill, which is very bad. So moving out on the flanks like this allows him potentially to move up through the forest, which is going to reduce the effectiveness of the enemy skirmishers. Now his Frankish horse need to be a bit careful here, because they are about to be in range of the archers. They are still hidden, but won't be for long if these Saxons start scouting a bit. So it seems like Panda wants to move up to this hill, which is a good idea. It doesn't look like the Saxons are completely wise to what's going on, because they have focused their archers over here on the flank, so they have very little skirmish support, where the main force of the Kingdom of Charlemagne is. Looks like they want to send the Saxon cav here into the forest to hide, but Panda saw that with his Frankish horse. A very staggered approach being used here by Yawning Firefly. And he doesn't have any units, other than the Hearthguard. He doesn't have any units well able to charge in and deal with armored swords when they go into shield wall. Westphalia has a lot of nice units with high charge bonuses, but fairly fragile. So these sword veterans, they need to do quite a bit of work in holding in the shield wall and allowing the other units to support. Still hiding these Frankish horse over here, getting very, very close now. And imagine if these Frankish horsemen manage to swing around and get at the skirmish line of Westphalia. But the Saxon cavalry is wise to it, but the Saxon cavalry isn't being microed, so the Saxon cavalry gets charged. It gets off a few javelin volleys, but it's going to get absolutely smashed here by the Frankish horsemen. 50 charge bonus on the Frankish horsemen. That's going to devastate the Saxon cavalry. The spears are about to respond now, but nothing they can do. Here comes the Saxon cav through the forest, throwing their javelins. Archers, not a prime target for javelins, and here you see already armored swords moving up in shield wall, and the Saxon cavalry taken off the field. So very nicely done, extending his flanks by keeping 2 cavalry units here. Gave him a pretty big advantage. Removing a Saxon cav unit is very, very useful. Now the Frankish cavalry is running out, screening away the Saxon cav. The Saxon cav is out of ammunition though, so it won't be able to skirmish against the enemy cav. The levy archers are holding and firing, being very patient, and look at how incredibly quickly, even though they're in the forest, the Saxon cavalry gets absolutely devastated by the flaming volleys. So this is not looking too good for Yawning Firefly. He's gotten 2 very important units picked off. When the Frankish cavalry gets free reign of the battlefield, the lightly armored Westphalian units are going to struggle quite significantly. And the spear warriors are holding here in shield wall. Nice use of shield wall, because it's going to increase their resistance to missiles up to 65% missile block. Now the archers here are taking a lot of flaming ammunition, singling them out, just wanting to remove these archers. And the spear band is pushing up, but the spear band isn't really supported here. It could very easily get taken away by an infantry unit. Now the spear warriors charging in after the levy archers, hitting charge speed. They are going to be able to catch some of them. But here come the armored swords. Looks like the armored swords want to get a charge in here. They are heavy, so they will have problems catching up to these spear warriors. Chopping up a few of the spear warriors, but now they're in dangerous territory because there are axe warriors running in. So wisely pulling away the armored swords there. You see a lot of this in Charlemagne. This tactical back and forth. It's not just YOLO charging. So the Saxon cavalry is going to get in a rear charge on the armored swords here. And this might be a very good idea, stopping the armored swords from moving into shield wall. Let's see if they manage to stop them from moving into shield wall. Now the shield wall here stops some of them. The armored swords actually charge in, and look at how quickly they die to the axes. But the axes are also going to die very quickly to Frankish cav. So the axe warriors are dropping rapidly now because of the charge of the Frankish cav. Look at how poorly the armored swordsmen do out of shield wall. So these guys, sword veterans, charging in, but there is a shield wall waiting for them here. The shield wall is going to be formed when they make contact, so the sword veterans are going to be off the field. But it's looking shaky over here for the Kingdom of Charlemagne, so Charlemagne pulls in the cavalry. And notice that the cavalry isn't being pulled out. The cavalry needs to be kept in, because if this small cav unit is being pulled out, then it's going to die. It might die anyway, but this way at least it's going to take more men with it going down. So the axes getting charged by cavalry there. Cavalry counters axe units with low armor very, very nicely. And now the Frankish cav is moving around, getting a charge into the hearth guard of the Saxons. Won't do too much damage here, but any damage done against the enemy's general is very nice. Here come the Frankish cavalry running down the flanks. The archers getting killed very rapidly here. And these units are completely zoned out of the battle, which means that Panda is able to use local superiority. And here you see how quickly the armored swords are killing the sword veterans using shield wall, the sword veterans not being in shield wall. If you have equally matched sword units and one is in shield wall, the other not, then there's just no way that the non-shield wall unit is going to win. Over here we have 2 shield walls fighting it out. Things are relatively even between these 2 units. But the hearth guard has been taking a lot of damage. The Saxon cav is starting to get removed from the field.
Enemy units have been rallied.
But these archers, they've lost a lot of their ammunition. They have been using flaming shot, but the thing is, there are a lot more archers available for the Kingdom of Charlemagne. Heavy shot on the general, on the hearth guard general. The hearth guard general hasn't been able to join the fight effectively. He's been zoned out of the battle for most of the time, and the armored spears will destroy a unit of spear veterans here.
Back to the fight.
So this is looking very bad for Westphalia. Getting a Saxon cav unit here into the very depleted archers, backing that up with spear band. But there are these armored spearmen in support. They're going to be able to deal with this spear band, no problem. 29 charge bonus there, and yeah, the spear band is dropping very, very quickly. So over here as well, the Frankish cavalry is losing decisively now to the Saxon cav. The Saxon cav is no pushover in melee. It can hold its own. But these units on the flanks, they haven't done anything. Nothing at all has been done by these units. And the archers focusing on the Saxon cav, but there is this unit of Frankish cav available to screen it away, which of course gives them more time to fire at the Saxon cav. And look at how quickly that focus fire is destroying the Saxon cavalry, getting chased off by massive missile volleys there. So this is not just not doable by Westphalia at the moment. The advantage, the Panda Warrior's advantage, is simply too big. He's claimed the high ground. He's sending his Frankish cav into the archers. And the Frankish cav is dealing death to the enemy archers and to the Saxon cav. So a decisive victory there. The Westphalians were picked apart. A very fragile Westphalian army and a very, very nice Kingdom of Charlemagne army. Super balanced, and the way Panda used the army on the map versus the enemy units, just a thing of beauty. Was not disappointed by this battle. Strength and honor.